Hey, welcome in. Glad you're along for the ride on a very special Thursday afternoon. Live from the swamp. Gosh, it's been way too long to get here. Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks with you. And we're going to kick it off the right way. My friend Scott Stricklin is the terrific AD here. And we're not going to waste any time. We're going to bring you in right away. How are you, brother? Thanks for joining us.
Great, Frank. Glad to have you guys here. Welcome to the swamp.
Thank you. It's been too long,
Looks
man.
great.
I told you before we went on. I'm so embarrassed. It's been 2015 since I've been in this stadium, and I deserve all the chastising. I know it's terrible. Isn't that terrible? It is unbelievable. So, hey, you've been busy.
We all have.
We talked about this on the program, Scott. I can't remember an athletic director having to hire men's basketball, women's basketball, and football in about a 4-month period. I mean, it's unusual.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
But obviously really excited about where we are and the people we brought in to lead those programs. And, since we're here for the Orange and Blue game tonight, starts Billy. And in a short period of time, he's really put his imprint on the whole program. And, he's a special individual, the way he carries himself. We were talking about people who are genuine. He's a genuine, authentic, regular guy, but he's so incredibly detailed. Has a plan he has plans for his plans, if you know what I mean. I mean, he is so ready for this moment, and we got a lot of work ahead of us, and he'll be the first to tell you that. But I think we're all going to be really happy with the results eventually.
Scott, the minute the search started, it was clear you had your guy. What did you see in Bill? You probably just talked about the characteristics.
Yeah.
I get it, but what did you see right out of the gate?
Just studying him from afar, and I did a lot of research because he had, this isn't a guy who had one good year at Louisiana and nobody had ever heard of him. He had kind of built that thing, right? He'd been there 4 years, had 3 straight 10-win seasons. So invariably, every offseason there would be some article about Billy Napier and how he runs his program, and I would always kind of stumble across that and learn about him. And every time I read one of those, I became more intrigued with him. You watch all the YouTube videos. Yeah. I've told this story before. I'm watching this post-game interview. I think they played at Arkansas State, and in the SEC we try to do things first class. Coach does his post-game press conference in front of a backdrop, in the media room or whatever. He's standing outside the stadium, and it's not a media room. It looks like something you might see at a high school field.
Right,
just a bunch of reporters around the coach talking about the game, and he's sitting there answering questions, and it's like a 6-minute interview, and all of a sudden toward the end of it, you see him kind of step out of the way of the camera for a second and turn around and say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry," and then he steps back in and keeps answering the question, and then you see like 2 student managers walk behind him, and it's a little thing, right?
Yeah,
but it just shows a self-awareness,
sure,
an emotional intelligence, a care for others, concern for others, and this day and age, this generation of young people, genuine, authentic relationships is one of the most important parts of leadership. And so that was the main thing that drew me to him. Is here's a guy that, and not just because of that clip, because of other things I read as well, that understood how to have genuine relationships, why it was important. It touches recruiting. It touches how you develop relationships within your team and how you run your program. It impacts how you interact with your fan base and Gator Nation. So many things come down to, are you a genuine, authentic person who understands the importance of relationships, genuine relationships? And that was the one thing that jumped out to me about Billy.
Yeah, absolutely, Scott. And then from an infrastructure standpoint, you guys are getting ready to open up a fantastic facility. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, the $85 million, 140,000 square feet Heavener Football Training Center. Not that I have those numbers memorized or anything. We're here a couple months away from being able to move in. It's going to be the day-to-day home for our football program, and Gator football has been in the south end zone of the stadium, and there's been some minor alterations to that space down there. But basically, since that south end zone was built back in the 70s, that's where they've been, and their practice field it's about a third of a mile walk one way every day. And so over the course of a season, someone added up, it's like 45 miles our football team walks to practice. Wow. So they're going to have, a state-of-the-art facility right there. adjacent to the practice field, just like every other program we have here at UF. Every other sports team, their locker room is where they practice and where they train. Our football team's finally going to have that, and it's going to have all the bells and whistles and the hydrotherapy and the all the fancy stuff that you do these days. Team meeting space is going to be unbelievable. There's going to be a dining hall for all 21 sports for all student athletes to use. There's an outdoor recreation amenity space that our current athletes will be able to use, and obviously recruits will host a lot of recruits in that space as well. It's going to be is the one thing that had that not been in the works, that would have been a hurdle, I think, to getting a guy like Billy Napier to come to Florida. But that box was checked, so to speak, the minute I sat down with him, because he had done his homework on Florida just like I had done my homework on him, and he knew about that and knew that it was coming, and was that's so. Whether you're recruiting athletes or you're recruiting coaches or you're just trying to make the lives of the ones who are here even better and give them the best support possible to train, those facilities are really important.
Yes, they certainly are. Has the new men's basketball coach, Todd Golden, asked you for 50 employees also?
He hasn't, but I'm trying to keep him and Billy away from each other.
Which is a good idea.
Yeah.
And by the way, Lauren, thank you for not going to gymnastics yet. I know we told you this before when you were on with us before. Lauren is the world's biggest Florida gymnastics fan. She's been nervous all day.
I get it.
We've been talking about this football thing, but she's been nervous all day. We've got a TV for her here. Stevie might make sure of the TV so she can watch her gymnastics. So there. Let me ask you about Todd Golden. Same question. It seems like you knew you knew exactly who you wanted. You got him. What stood out about your basketball coach?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know exactly. He was someone of interest. He wasn't the person of interest. Billy, whereas with football, Billy was the guy.
Okay.
There were 4 or 5 people we talked to. Todd, the minute you get in front of him, or in this case, the way we do things in this day and age, you got a Zoom call with him.
Zoom, right?
His energy is infectious. You can tell he's incredibly bright. As Bruce Pearl told me when I asked him about Todd, he said he's way too smart to be a basketball coach. he's just got a special mind, I think. So good with people, and like I said with Coach Napier, I mean, you can just tell this is a guy that's got a plan, understands how he wants his program to run, and in basketball, it's interesting. I was talking to Mark Dagnall, who's the head coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, at one point was an assistant for Coach Donovan with the Gators. And, he talked about how in the NBA, it's all run by analytics. Every decision in the NBA is made through analytics. And you just comment how in college basketball it hasn't really taken off like that. And Todd's one of the guys that's on the forefront, a little innovative there, and kind of like that about him.
For Gator basketball fans, what kind of offensive philosophy does Todd have from your conversations with him? What can they expect to see?
He's I'm liking the fight song, by the way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's good.
Got that just for you.
I think it's at one point. I think he's adaptable. I know he's done a lot of Princeton offense type stuff, but I think he's done some variations of that, and so you're going to see a lot of. You're going to see an emphasis on taking catch and shoot open 3-pointers and 2-point baskets or shots at the rim. You're not going to see a lot of 15-foot jump shots. And again, that goes back to the analytics. That's if you look at an NBA shot chart, that's where you see a lot of 3-point shots and a lot of shot attempts right at the rim. And so he's going to run, get a lot of movement going to try to create those two opportunities, because there's a number assigned to the chance of scoring points per possession based on shots being taken from those locations. So, again, it just goes back to the analytical approach.
Can I ask about gymnastics?
You can.
Let's
absolutely.
talk about
I thanked you before. Let's get right to it.
All right, so
here we go.
Going into this season, I think Jenny Rowland's done a terrific job managing everyone. Obviously, people know the names of Trinity Thomas and other gymnasts like her, Leanne Wong certainly too. Who do you think in tonight's meet has to really be the standout?
Well, you got to start with Trinity because of, she's so good in every single event, and she's liable to get a 10 in any event,
Which
right?
is awesome.
Yeah. Jenny has done such a great job this year, and she's had the depth to be able to do it of not making sure that everybody's fresh throughout the year. She's been able to have a lot of people compete in different events as the year has gone on. and it's been kind of exciting to see here at the end of the year. They're kind of it's almost like a swim team approach where they're they kind of tapered early in the year, and now everybody's kind of full speed. And you saw the SEC meet, and they won that meet in addition to the regular season. Then they had an unbelievable record performance at the NCAA regional. So it's if we go and do what we have been doing, we're going to be fine tonight. Tonight's the regional. For those of you who don't know, tonight's the semis. Basically, the
She's
national
coached
semis.
Thank you for that,
national
though.
Semis.
Thank you. Well said.
We finish in the top 2 in our 4-team event tonight. Then we'll be in the 4-team finals on Saturday. And it's Jenny has done a phenomenal job. And we're super talented. And we're number 2 in the country. I think Oklahoma's number 1. Michigan is the defending champion. They'll be, something to be reckoned with. I have not seen. Do you know how the earlier round went today?
I haven't seen. We've been sitting up and we've been busy, but I'll look it up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in the break.
So we'll find out who there's the first semifinal. I think started at 1 today, and ours will be at 6 tonight on I believe ESPN or ESPN2.
Yep.
And it's I'll tell you what, if you've not been to a gymnastics meet at the O'Connell Center, and obviously we're not going to have any more this year,
right?
But next year, I encourage anyone listening to this that has any interest whatsoever.
And it's packed.
It is a scene.
Yeah, everybody says this.
Deal.
I mean, you watch them on TV, it's packed.
The energy
Always
in that building is through the roof.
Yeah.
And
Oklahoma and Utah advanced.
Oklahoma and Utah.
Yep.
Okay, so we're in tonight with Michigan and Auburn and Missouri and the Gators. And
we destroyed Missouri earlier this season, 198 to 196.
And we've beaten Auburn.
Once tied Auburn.
Tied Auburn, beat them in the SECs, and then beat them in the regionals last week.
And it was at Auburn.
Yeah.
Take that.
So
Lauren's going to sneak down to Scott's office. They're going to watch this
I tell you
while
what,
we're watching
I
the
gotta be
warm-ups.
honest.
I am so nervous.
Okay.
I love watching our gymnast. I can't watch the balance beam.
I can't either.
Yeah, and we talk about that all the time.
I get it.
Yeah.
I can watch a Gator kicker, kick a 50-yarder to win the game, and I can watch someone at the free throw line with no time on the clock, and I'm excited and I'm nervous, but I'm going to sit there and watch it. I cannot watch that balance beam.
I get it.
It's a 4 inches, and they're jumping. Oh my gosh!
It's
By the way,
incredible.
the 2 gymnasts for me tonight. We start on vault, so we're in the Olympic rotation. Naya Reed on vault. Hopefully she gets a 10, and Alyssa Bauman, who's just been a stud all 5 years that she's been here.
And Naya is money on the floor as well.
Yep,
of course, the whole team's really good on the floor, but that's that Alabama meet where we had the back-to-back 10s. I believe Naya was one of the back-to-back 10s to come back and beat Alabama early in the year. It was pretty phenomenal.
Hayes, have you learned? Okay, I want you make sure you learn. Scott Stricklin with us, the terrific AD here at Florida. All right, Exact Tech Arena is beautiful. You just talked about the facility. Maybe as good a baseball park as there is in college baseball because facilities are all the rage, like you said a minute ago. We're in the swamp. I love it. I grew up here. I went to school here. You know that. Section 43 over there, Hayes, used to be over here, okay? Yeah. And I was in Section 4. So I love this place. But I would think it's time.
Yep.
What is the process? What's the timetable? What do you do?
Spending a lot of time studying that. This will be a conversation that I'm sure our Board of Trustees will want to be a part of because this is a pretty significant structure on this campus. Sure. But there's no question that we have some opportunities to refurbish. I hate to use the term modernize because this is such an iconic place. I hear you. I want to not do what the Bears did with Soldier Field, right? Mm-hmm. That looked like bad plastic surgery, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
and so I would love to do more of what the Red Sox did at Fenway, where they, you walk in today and it feels like it did 30 years ago, but the concourses are bigger. There's more restrooms and concessions, and there's the video and the audio is awesome, and it's refurbished, but it has retained the character of what makes it unique. I think the Swamp, I don't ever want to lose how close the stands are to the field. That is probably one of the tightest sidelines in college football. I don't ever want to lose that. I don't want to lose the rake of the seats and how steep it gets so quickly. There's some things that we're going to have to tackle from ADA and accessibility. This thing is 92 years old.
I know.
So there was no such thing as ADA or accessibility when the Swamp was being built. And so there's some things we've got to do and to make it better for our fans. And but you want to do it in a way that retains the special, unique, intimidating factor that makes it the Swamp, right?
Absolutely. We don't keep you too much longer. I really appreciate you doing this. But what are your expectations for football now? I mean, what's fair and unfair to expect of Billy? How fast? And I know it's an unfair question, but that's what everybody that's listening to us right now is wondering.
You know, I would have the same expectations I do for all 21 of our sports. We should be in the mix to win an SEC championship. And if you are in the mix to win an SEC championship, you got a chance to win a national championship. And so, you know, we're not there right now as a football program. You know, I'm not going to put a timeline, obviously, on it, but that's what we should be doing in all of our sports. We should be in the mix to win the SEC on a regular basis.
Yeah, and Scott, I completely agree, and we're all hoping that the Gators get there very quickly. I'm curious about the NIL, the Gator Collective. What are some things that Gator fans can do that maybe haven't heard of the collective? They want to help out. What are some things that they can do to be a part of helping Gator athletes?
Yeah, that's a great question. Hey, you know, if I were sitting there, if I'm in an alumni meeting and, you know, we had the Alumni Association there, I would say, hey, if you want to give back to the Alumni Association, support them, talk to these people. If you're interested in helping with facilities or student-athlete scholarships, talk to their friends at Gator Boosters. If you want to help student-athletes with NIL opportunities, go talk to the Gator Collective. So now the Gator Collective is not part of the University of Florida. It's not part of the UAA. It's an outside entity. By law, it has to be that way. But that's, you know, we're incredibly blessed to have over 400,000 living alumni. Gator Nation, as we all know, is large and is everywhere and passionate. And, you know, people want to help in a lot of different ways. And if it's facilities, we can, you know, we can help put your money to work that way. If it's for endowing scholarships, we can help, you know, put your money to work that way. If it's supporting NIL opportunities, you know, you should go talk to the good people at the Gator Collective. And there's some other similar type opportunities out there as well. You know, it was predictable. We all, you know, the intent of name, image, and likeness was just to unshackle athletes from overzealous rules that kept them from monetizing or having sponsorship opportunities away from the game, away from their sport, which makes total sense. But, you know, it's quickly become a recruiting tool. And that's just, you know, it's not ideal, but that's what it is. And if you have an interest in that, that's where you can help.
Scott Stricklin, the AD at Florida. I got to have one of those belts. My knees are very small. I'm getting that belt. I'm getting a belt like that. Hayes, before I get out of here, Lauren, I'm getting a belt. I don't know where, but I'm getting a belt like that. Scott, thank you for joining me.
Enjoy it, guys.
Them, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep this on.
Okay. I'm the one like it.
Okay.
Scott, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Back in a moment, live from the swamp on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM. XL and 92.5 FM. XL and 92.5.